People always ask, where did we get the name Blue Water Climate Control? When a Navy ship casts off lines, exits the harbor, and loses sight of land, that's blue water sailing. It takes a team of people to do that. Tireless work, focus, and attention to detail. So much of starting a business is just like that. After it's done, you get filled with deep satisfaction for accomplishing something. And it's quickly followed by, now the real work begins. We're Blue Water Climate Control.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Buck and 2MC show on Tuesdays now. I hope Alexis will be able to join us. I sent her the show link, but until she gets here, I will just chat with all of y'all about everything going on. Donna and Beth are here, rolling in as always. Y'all are going to see me look to the right quite a bit tonight. It is baseball time. I have my lucky bat. I have my lucky ball. The Braves are on playing the Dodgers. So if y'all see me look that way, that's why. And I know y'all are sports fans and you'll understand. So I will text Alexis again and let her know that we are rolling on the show, and watch for her to pop in. Let y'all roll in. Everybody coming in on a Tuesday. I got to get used to this myself. I'm like, oh my goodness, we got to go. I'm also getting a whole bunch of spam calls. There goes the dogs. They seem to have accelerated. Is everybody else having that lately? Now I've got the legal department calling me and the officers and the feds, and I need to call and press 1 right away or I'll be something. I guess it's holidays. I don't know. They seem to come in waves, and they're coming again. Hey, guys. It's show night. You will stop? That'll work for a few minutes. But let's see. Trina went to the restaurant, and it was great. That, of course, is Tap 40 restaurant off Emory Road in Powell. I keep hearing really good things about the food. So I have got to get there myself when I am back to eating out. Beth is excited for me with the Braves. Nancy's here. Donna says, go Red Sox. A Braves-Red Sox World Series would be incredible. So Karen is here. And I think that's it for now. But yeah, so y'all got to get used to this too. Sven is here. Hail State, everyone. And hello, Maria. Hope you had a good day. Well, I did. It's beautiful weather here. It's finally cooled off. Finally feels like fall. So I am quite happy with our weather. Obviously, stuff that we know happened today. The SEC media preseason all SEC team, of course, came out. My ballot had Ray Burrell on it. Apparently not enough of my fellow media members did. We only get 5 picks too. And we have to go guard, forward, center. The coaches get like 8 in 2 teams. So the media has to hold it down to 5. The order of finish was certainly interesting. Tennessee is, I'm having to yell over my own butt. Timeout. Yo, stop it. Okay. Sorry for that little outburst. Greetings, it's okay. We're just getting started. Sven said it's 5 degrees Celsius here in rain, as always in Berlin in October. I don't know how to convert Celsius, but that sounds cold. The dogs are happy. Nancy, they are. And they wait until I start talking. And now probably somebody's walking by outside, so that's got them all excited too. So goodness gracious, they are little demon children. But I love them because they're my demon children. But it is interesting order of finish. Obviously, South Carolina picked to finish first. I don't if anybody didn't vote South Carolina to finish first, they probably need their media credential revoked because that means you don't follow the season at all. Tennessee checked in at number 2. That's lofty expectations. Of course, a lot of it's based on what was done last year. It's certainly the media picked Tennessee, I believe, to finish 6th a year ago. So obviously Tennessee is getting heads to turn in the right direction. The rest of the order finished Texas A&M at number 3, Kentucky at number 4, Georgia at number 5. Of course, Georgia's one of the teams that snuck up last year and grabbed one of those top 4 slots. I actually had Georgia in that top 4. Arkansas 6, LSU 7th. That'll probably fire up Kim Mulkey. Ole Miss 8. That's a good move for Ole Miss to 8 because they have historically been ranked at the bottom of the SEC, and now they're being put in the middle of the pack in preseason, so they're going in the right direction. Mississippi State number 9. I think Mississippi State's got a better roster than they had last year, but I think that partly reflects some of the coaching change that had to occur with Nikki McCray leaving for health reasons. So I think there's that sort of a question mark. Alabama coming in at number 10. Alabama's another one of those teams that no matter what will be sneaky good. Missouri coming in at number 11. Same thing with Missouri. They just have a way of having excellent players who play well together. Number 12, Florida. That also probably reflects the turmoil. I mean, quite frankly, it could be even worse, but they do have Lavender Briggs, so that could be a reason for that. Number 13, Auburn. They lost quite a bit. Number 14, Vanderbilt. I think Shea Ralph in her first season, I think she's got a better roster than she a year ago when they ended up parting ways with Stephanie White. So I would be surprised to see Vanderbilt finish this season at the bottom of the SEC. Ryan Howard repeating as SEC preseason player of the year, all SEC first team. Ryan Howard, Kentucky. Kayla Pointer, LSU. Shakira Austin, Ole Miss. Aaliyah Boston, and Zaya Cook, both of South Carolina. The interesting thing to me in all that is Tennessee is picked number 2 in the conference. I mean, to finish number 2 in this conference, the SEC is even better than it was a year ago. To finish number 2 in this conference and not have a single player on the preseason media first team, all SEC team is odd to me. I think Ray Burrell deserved that slot based on what she did last year. She's one of the best players in the SEC last year, but we all know it's a media preseason poll. Coaches aren't going to mean anything anyway. We're all just curious to see what they do. It's what those standings look like at the end of February, early March that matters. Best at AP ranked Kentucky higher than the Lady Vols. I think a lot of that has to do with Ryan Howard being on the roster. I really do. For those who haven't seen the AP poll, let me pull that one up too. Tennessee obviously is remember last year in preseason, they were not ranked at all. Tennessee spent about a good 6 weeks of the season, I believe. It was a truncated season, so maybe it was only 4, trying to break into that poll. It's hard to break into it when you don't start in it because they've got to have multiple teams start to lose and fall out. Tennessee is now starting at number 15 in the preseason AP poll. And they will play 2 of the top 3 teams in South Carolina, UConn, and Stanford. So Tennessee will have plenty of challenges this year. 4 SEC teams made that poll, as noted. It was Kentucky is in there. And let me look at the SEC tweet. I've already forgotten exactly. I want to make sure I get the ones right of which city they are in. I mean, which place they are in. I know what city they're in. It's been a long day, guys. It has been a long day for me. Long. And it's only Tuesday. Let's see where we are. Boy, SC, you can tell it's hopping time. For Gamecocks, South Carolina, number 1 in AP preseason. That's an interesting poll to me because Stanford brings back pretty much everybody and added a great class and didn't get the number 1 pick. For Stanford, that's just going to be motivation for them. I'm not saying South Carolina can't end up there. It's just I find it curious that the returning national champs were not preseason number 1. Typically they are. And I'm not sure Stanford lost enough to justify that. I don't think they lost a single starter, did they? Anyway, that's odd. Kentucky number 13, Lady Vols number 15, Texas A&M number 23. The receiving votes, 26 is Georgia, 32 LSU, 32 Arkansas. They were tied for that, and 40 is Ole Miss. Again, that's a win for Ole Miss to be in the national conversation. given the struggles they have had recently. So let me close that out. So that is where we are in terms of catching up on what happened today. Leslie said, now you've got my dog barking. I'm very sorry about that, but I'm not surprised. Sven said we need Coach Schaefer back. He was a heck of a head coach in Starkville. Yeah, he's talking about Mississippi State when he says we. Yeah, I agree, but I don't think he's going to leave Austin for Starkville. Austin, Texas, Starkville, Mississippi. Where are you going to live? Plus, Texas just paid him a boatload of money, and I mean a boatload. So Mississippi State's not going to get him back. And they have an interim coach, of course, and will start a search. So I'd be curious to see who they do have. Sven said 5 degrees is 41 degrees. 5 degrees Celsius, 41 degrees Fahrenheit. Still sounds chilly to me, especially when it's raining. Karen said, what is the show without the dogs? Thank you. Appreciate y'all being patient with them. Credence said Ray and Key need to be on there. I agree, Credence. The problem is the media only gets 5 picks, and that makes it harder. Like I said, coaches get 8, and they get 2 teams. We get 5 players total. And when Aaliyah Boston is anchored in that center spot, Tamari Key's going to have to knock her out of it. So if we had a deeper team or 2 teams, I think you would definitely see more Lady Vols. And once again, y'all know it's polls. It's preseason polls. They're fun to talk about. It's like bracketology. It's fun to talk about. Doesn't mean anything. That's a great thing about basketball is it will all get settled in the end. This is me constantly watching the television here. I had been a Braves fan since 1968, so I'm going to reveal my age there. I went to my first game when I was 6 years old. So just Braves are where my heart is. That's my favorite sport. People are surprised when I don't say basketball. They ask me my favorite sport. I say baseball. So Karen said, have you seen the girls practice? Yes, it was a not last minute, but late week surprise that the practices were going to be open on Saturday to the public, which means, of course, that the media can go and sit in the stands and watch practice. It was, of course, an Arkansas Ole Miss home game with Tennessee. So it was packed on campus. It was good to see campus back to that kind of atmosphere. And in Knoxville and at Neyland Stadium, we won't talk about the trash. I did see a funny meme on one of the social medias about the fans were just throwing water because the Ole Miss players were cramping so bad and having to fall down on the field. That was funny. I laughed. I'm not laughing about what happened, but that was funny. And so I did get to watch a 2-hour practice. A lot of practice is, drills. It's running offense and defense and box out and passing and full court and layups and free throws. So you're not like seeing a game. They did do some 5-on-5 towards the end of practice, which is always a good idea. Do that at the end when you're tired. And because try to simulate game situation. I really enjoyed it because I had not had an opportunity to see them yet this season. And I really enjoyed being able to see that. I like y'all, you want to put eyes on them. And I realized I saw one practice. Didn't see what practice was like the day before. Didn't see what practice was like the day after. But I got to see one practice on Saturday. Trina, it was a last-minute decision, and practice is rarely open to the public. I mean, rarely, maybe once or twice a season at most. And it's always preseason because during the season they're preparing for opponents, so they're hesitant to ever let any public in them because so much of it is scouting. But it was Saturday afternoon. The men were at 11 and the women were at 2, and it was announced like midweek. As some of y'all heard on the Collective Unfiltered, I actually had a plumber scheduled to come to my house Saturday for a non-emergency issue. I need to get it fixed, but it wasn't. I cut the water off and it wasn't a problem. And I called and canceled because I'm like, I gotta go to practice. I gotta get my priorities straight here. And I'll give you wrote a story on 247 Sports, GoVols247.com about my practice observations. It's on my Facebook and Twitter also. But one of the takeaways that I had was it's going to be real hard to keep Alexis Dye out of the lineup. She's good. She's got to improve free throws and ball handling, and that was known. That was known before she got here. She has not had to play the guard spot. She was a power forward at Troy. So handling the ball is not something she had to do a lot. So she's working on improving that and becoming a better free throw shooter, which can be something every player needs to do, quite frankly, though some are outstanding at it, but some players, even the really good ones, can dip. So working on your free throws is always a great idea, but she is fast. She is aggressive. She can get to the rim. She can post up. She is active on defense. Hands are moving, passing lanes, anticipation. I mean, it's too early to set a starting lineup, but it's going to be hard to keep Alexis Dye out of it. She's somebody that I didn't have to watch too long in that 5-on-5 to say, okay, she's on the floor. All 4 freshmen also, they're going to contribute. I'm not penciling any freshmen in the starting lineup, which I think is a good thing. Tennessee has had to rely so much on freshmen who are put into a situation so early before they are really ready for it. It is so much better to be able to ease freshmen in. Unless you have a freshman like, say, Candace Parker, then we can all see, okay, you don't ease in a Candace Parker. Those players come around once every 10 or 15 years. Tennessee's been lucky to have several. But all 4 of these freshmen have skills, and they're going to help. So I would expect to see all 4 on the floor this season. Beth said, Maria, same with the Braves. 1969 broke my heart, still not over it. Sports will absolutely break your heart, but my goodness, is it fun. It is so fun. And since Alexis is not here, we can talk about recruiting. Obviously, Justine Passat was here on her official visit. If y'all saw the social media post, she obviously had a good visit. She's committed. She will sign next month. She's coming. Ashlyn Shade, one of the top 5, really, I mean, could be top 3 before all said and done, guards and overall top 5, top 3 shooting guards, is in the class of 2023. It was here on her second visit on Saturday with her parents. I'm not saying she's coming to Tennessee, but I'm saying a second unofficial visit indicates high interest. Now, well, Tennessee's got competition all over the place for her. She's from Indiana. Every school in that region is after her. Notre Dame, Indiana, of course. Connecticut's after her. Maryland, several other ACC schools. I'm sure Pac-12 schools are going to come in. So Tennessee will have a lot of competition for her, but it's always good to see that she is here on a second unofficial visit. And an unofficial visit, for those that don't know, official visit happens typically in a player's senior year of high school and are going into the senior year of high school. And it is paid for by the school. The school can arrange for travel, meals, accommodations while you're here. An unofficial visit, you can still visit the school, talk to the coaches, watch practice, of course, which she was doing, but your family has to bear the cost of it. So that is basically the only difference there. So that is the update on her. Kimberly Ogg said, I think your dad really likes Kelly and the culture at Tennessee. You recruit the parents as much as the player because they have to feel comfortable sending their child to you. And I agree that the family seemed comfortable. I mean, Kelly talked to them during practice, and they were, is clearly, having a very good conversation, and a good rapport already has been established. Y'all who are regulars on this show have heard me repeatedly say the class of 2023 is what Tennessee's recruiting is going to go after. You change assistant coaches. Obviously, I mean, Kelly's only in her 3rd year. So you're talking about the first 2 years, you had a whole new staff. Then after 2 years, 2 assistants leave, one for a head coaching job. So now you're replacing 2 new assistants. Recruiting is a multi-year endeavor. You have got to establish relationships with the players, and it all starts with the head coach, of course. Keep in mind, Kelly's only been here 2 years. You establish relationships with these players in the 9th grade. You are recruiting, and even 8th graders in some case, and you are recruiting these kids starting as very, very young age. And when you change head coaches, and that's going to happen, Josh Heupel is dealing with this too. Those relationships, you don't have them. And the other coaches, it creates a vacuum. And the other coaches, the other coaches realize, look, we've been here the whole time. So recruiting is coming for Tennessee. In the meantime, you obviously signed Justine Bassett. Tennessee's also looking at Talasia Cooper, who I thought was always a lean for Georgia. And I would be surprised if she came to Tennessee. But with recruiting, I always say you never know. Kyla Odeker, there's no indication of what she's going to do. I would not be surprised to see her head even further south, but we shall see on that one. She's given no indication. So the transfer portal obviously will always be in play. And while that is not a long-term strategy, everybody knows that Kelly is recruiting for the long haul, you can get some excellent players in it. And as an example, I'll give you Alexis Dye. She's going to help Tennessee tremendously this year in her one. The Braves are up 5-2. Sorry, in her one season in Knoxville, because this is her last year of eligibility, and that is what I know about recruiting. 2022, I always thought was going to be touch and go for Tennessee. The primary thing was keep Justine Bassett and go from there. They kept Justine Bassett, probably one of the best players in the country. Was pathetically underrated 2 years ago because the so-called evaluators had not seen her. Now they've seen her, and she's suddenly like top 11, top 10. It's a racket. I don't put too much emphasis on those numbers or media preseason polls, as I mentioned. I know we're talking also about. Karen was asking me, what do you think about Candace, and what about Taurasi breaking the door? Yeah, I noticed the door was on the stage at Kentucky. At Kentucky, that's on my mind. At Chicago. Let me come back to that because I need to do our sponsors. Here we go. Alexis Hornbuckle basketball. I don't know where Alexis is. Collective Unfiltered, a Monday night show. I'll occasionally make cameos on there. Orange Mountain Designs, of course. Love everything about Orange Mountain Designs. And they are opening up this Thursday. So 2 days from now, they are going back to Thursday, Friday, Saturday hours. So you can now go to the store in person. I know everybody prefers that. The Gold Standard, Sports and Training Performance by Jamel Johnson, Just Pass It Tutoring, and Blue Water Climate Control, which of course you heard as we came in. They are someone I use. In fact, I had a bizarre noise clanking around in my unit, and they showed up within 12 hours of me making an online appointment at 8 o'clock at night, and all the issues are fixed, and it was just a service call, and they're fantastic. Softball has some new product, as you can see here. Ashley Rogers, that's a cool long sleeve shirt of her in her wind-up. There's Kiki Malloy, All-American. It's a family thing. Obviously, that is her father, Lawyer Malloy, All-American football player at Washington, who also played in the NFL for many years. So that really cool stuff. And there's something about haunted home runs, too. You can see that little shirt up in the background. Go to orangemountaindesigns.com. Get all your gear from Terry Holder at Orange Mountain Designs. And you can shop in the store, which is always nice. Because if you're like me, you're old school sometimes. You will see something, you will look at it, you will feel the material. I'm wearing, of course, their long sleeve. It's getting chilly here. Breast Cancer Awareness t-shirt. The ones that Terry had to help making strides against breast cancer, they are still on the website. You can still buy them this month in October or even next month, but all sales in October. She's donating $5 from each shirt to Making Strides Against Breast Cancer. So please, if you haven't got one shirt yet, please get that shirt for you. Doris is here. Hello, my friends. Hello, Doris. Candace Parker, wow. And Diamond DeShields. I want to shout out Diamond DeShields. She played outstanding defense in that finals. Candace Parker, I mean, what a story. 2 years ago, she was voted as one of the most overrated players in the WNBA. I believe it was a player vote. And she played 11 minutes in a playoff elimination game for the Los Angeles Sparks in what appeared to be not a happy situation with the coach for a lot of players. And all of a sudden, then 2020, she returns to the Sparks, becomes Defensive Player of the Year. 2021, we know what happened there. She's a free agent. She goes to her hometown of Chicago, leads the Sky to their first ever WNBA championship. And I have not seen Candace Parker that emotional. I have covered her entire career, and I have never seen her as emotional as she was during that game at the end. I think people saw the clips of Candace crying as the clock was winding down, grabbing that defensive rebound and literally sprinting down the corner to hug her mother and father and other family members who were there in her hometown. And then emotional in the post-game press conference. I mean, just, when you're Candace, this was she's 13 years a pro and she's 35 years old. And at that point, you see the clock ticking down on your career. And I do hope she comes back another year. Why not repeat? And I think a lot of that emotion poured out. Her motioning for her daughter to come over, and then her daughter jumping in her arms. I mean, I still need to watch it full all the way through. Our Making Strides Against Breast Cancer walk was 3:00 Sunday. So, and I'm on that committee and in charge of all kinds of fun things like media and posting and interviews and helping out wherever I need to help out. I was even directing runners at the end of it and walkers. So I had to keep checking Twitter to see what the score was in the game. And then I was watching the countdown. I had the WNBA site up, was watching the seconds go down, and just let out a scream when I saw that they had tied the game. And then, of course, was checking it, and then saw they went up 2, went up 4, went up 6. So I still have it recorded. I still need to watch it. So I just think I'm so happy for Candace. I'm so happy for Diamond. I mean, Diamond has struggled with some serious issues with her eyes, a leg injury. It has not been an easy road for her, and she has done her job and done it well. Kimberly said, how about Diamond in her Lady Vol's jacket? Yeah, she was repping the Lady Vols. Even the blue shoes she had. She's a good kid. I like Diamond. I like her a lot. I liked her when she was here. Doris said, pray for my sister. She has colon cancer, starts chemo and radiation Friday. I know we're a family here. That is Doris Parsley Workman's sister. Please keep her sister in your thoughts. And Doris, I am so very sorry. It is quite a journey. And hopefully it is one that she can handle. I know it's going to get hard. And everybody, please keep her sister in your thoughts and prayers. I know that would be appreciated. And Nikki Anna CK, she's been sending me videos of the kids. They don't come in great quality on the phones. I can't send them here, but she will always be grateful for. She felt the strength of Lady Vol Nation. You guys are powerful, so use your power for good. God's Child said, you've got to see some of those moves she put on Brianna Turner. I felt Brianna trying to guard her. It was poetry in motion as she backed her down in the paint. I agree. I mean, Candace, at some point you just look at her and you're like, she's toying with this player right now. She is setting you up and she is going to go after you. And Candace, I mean, Candace can take her game to another level when she sees that she's got to. And I mean, you could tell. I mean, Candace is not young. She's had multiple knee issues and shoulder issues, and your body just does not respond like a 20, 21, 22-year-old anymore. So she was willing herself to win that game, because you don't want to go to Phoenix in a game 5 on their home floor. You just don't. Game elimination games like that get too weird, and you don't want to be on their home court. So Julie said Diamond's defense was key to their win. I agree. You've got to have a player off that bench who can bring energy and stop somebody. You have got to get stops. And Candace elevated her defense at the end. I mean, it was her steal that really got that comeback started. And I'm almost happy I'm going to be watching it knowing the outcome, because it sounds like that some of that third and fourth quarter got pretty dicey. Her sister's name is Dina, and she starts her chemo tomorrow. So those of you who keep prayer list or need names, her sister's name is Dina. So please keep Dina in all of your thoughts. Peggy said the Sky Ladies demonstrated such maturity under her tutelage with patience and persistence, true reflection of Pat's principles. I agree. I loved it when she was mic'd, because Candace, there was a lot of alpha personalities when Candace was here. You had Nikki, one of the greatest leaders in Tennessee history. You had Alexis, who certainly was capable of using her voice, Shannon Bobbitt. So Candace did not have to be that primary leader at Tennessee. There was a team full of them. And Candace really embraced that role with this young team. And Copper, my goodness. I remember she was at Rutgers. I do not remember seeing her play and seeing her at this level. She could have been that good at Rutgers. Obviously, Rutgers was not that good then. So I don't think they were getting a lot of national attention. But Copper, my goodness, what a great story. Philly kid, fourth child of a single mother, and just rose to the occasion. She was good all season. So it's I'm happy for her too. Candace gets that serious look on her face, and you know it's game on. Yes, and she's a whole. Candace is a whole. I mean, there's so many ways. There was one play I was watching on replay. She's running the break as the point forward, handling the ball full court, eyes up, looking for somebody, realizes, no, it's time to be a post now. And I think that's one of those plays where she got Brianna Turner down in the paint, just backed her in and finished. God's Child said game 4 was a jewel to watch. See how they came back, the drama, the intensity, a classic. I'm looking forward to watching it. I made sure I recorded it, and I'm going to enjoy it, especially knowing how it ended. That's going to make it a whole lot more fun. Julie said Chicago Sky handled themselves with class and dignity and stayed with the plan. Parker was the leader. I agree with all of that too. It was a great series, particularly to go 16-16 during the regular season and come in as a 6 seed, the final seed. Obviously, 7 of those losses was Candace out with her serious ankle sprain. I remember she put a picture up of it on one of her social media posts, and I'm like, yikes. I realize it's a sprained ankle. She'll be back. That's not an easy recovery. That was a wicked-looking sprained ankle. I'll get to the door thing. I haven't forgotten you, Karen. I'll get back to that. Mary Ann said, what caused Kelly to get feisty in the open practice? Players not being where they were supposed to be. If she thought a player wasn't paying attention enough. And keep in mind, it's a 2-hour practice. It's a Saturday. They practice all week. Fatigue is going to set in. Mental fatigue is going to set in. We're only 2 weeks in here, really, to it. And Kelly, I think Kelly's comfortable with this team, and she's comfortable with the fact that they're comfortable with her. The freshmen, she recruited all of them. She knows all of them. The upperclassmen, they've played now with Kelly 2 years. They understand her. When a coach has now established that kind of rapport, you can be harder on them because they've seen the other side of you. They've seen the side that loves you and cares about you. And Kelly y'all seen her get on the refs. She's got it in her. And and immediately, Kelly goes right back to coach. A lot of like Pat was, get on you, talk about it, bam, right back into coach mode, and then praising a player. You got to do both. Players can take it if you're hard on them, but you better show them some love too and praise them when they do well. So and that's a good thing because Kelly's clearly in charge at practice, and that's what you want. I was also impressed with Joy McCorvey. Didn't know much about her. I knew a lot about Samantha Williams, but I really didn't know much about Joy. And she's a presence at practice too. She's got things to say, and she'll get on players, and she'll demand that things be to excellence, that you do things a certain way. So I really like the dynamics of this coaching staff, how they work together. And I just hope fans will be patient with them. I mean, going in pick number 2 in the SEC, I mean, that doesn't inspire a lot of patience, I think. But the SEC, I can promise you, is going to be brutal this year. Every game is going to be earned. It's going to be another one of those where, like we were last year, you're coming down to the last week of the season to figure out who those top 4 seeds are. So, and Texas A&M is going to want to defend their crown. So, Kimberly said Kelly had some black leather pants on today. I have been so busy at work, I have not even been on social media. Y'all were saying they had their photo shoot today, so I'll have to get on there later and take a look. God's Child said, when I see Kelly get on the refs, I get flashbacks to Coach Summit as well. I do too, God's Child. And I would call you by your first name if I knew it. I'm just calling you by your screen name. So, when Kelly's first season, I remember watching that. I'm like, and she doesn't let up. The camera goes off of her. If you're ever at a game, watch it in person because she'll keep stalking them down the sideline, and she'll go to center court. She's still got things to say to them. At this point, I've watched games later. The camera's back on the action, but Kelly's not done. And she can stomp and turn, and I'll be glad to. I think you need to do that because, I mean, heck, you saw it with the WNBA, just absolutely, utterly bizarre calls. But back to Taurasi, which I know she's a lightning rod for a lot of criticism. I do want to say it was a great sportsmanship. I think Skylar Diggins-Smith did the same thing. They found each Chicago player, congratulated them. The players seemed to, for the most part, get along. There's always going to be some tension at times, but she went back and congratulated all of them and spoke to them. Everybody knows her personality, very fiery personality, and apparently, based on media reports, she was slamming a door repeatedly in the locker room area and broke it. I mean, put a big crack in it. I did see a still social media post from Chicago Sky today, or a reporter covering it, where the door was over at the pavilion where they were holding the celebration after the parade. So I thought that was kind of funny. Obviously, some of the social media, you can tell. I like it when teams troll each other on social media. So it's that part is all in good fun. I did follow some of the part about they opted not to speak to the media. I mean, you got to do that. And I saw a lot of arguments of why a team shouldn't. I'm like, no, I'm not saying the entire team has to be available. Certain players are made available. If a player can't deal with it, emotionally can't deal with it, can't, that it would be detrimental to that player. You don't send that player. But you got a lot of veteran players on the Phoenix Mercury's team. They can handle media after a win or a loss. They know how to do it. And I think they got a $10,000 fine today, and they should. That's not a burdensome thing to do. Is to have media after a loss, and that's part of sports. And I just thought that wasn't that the coach said she didn't even know until the next day because the coach was doing her media part. So, I think it's not a burdensome thing to do, particularly for veteran players. And there's a cooling off period. So there was a lot of arguments back and forth, and I thought most of y'all have never been in a sports environment or a media environment, and you're just yakking. So hush. But that was just me. Godshaw said that was poor sportsmanship. Diana has 3 championships. She knows better. Yeah, you can. I mean, veteran players can handle it. One of the best players ever after a loss was Sierra Burdick at Tennessee. I mean, we got to the point where no matter what, we'd ask for her because she knew how to talk about a game, win or lose. I want to shout out Sierra Burdick for that. Beth said, do you think college players will opt out of the media this year? Most college players understand the need for media and they handle it. Now, I suppose if a player is not capable of doing it, if there's an issue with that player that day or even long-term of media fright or not comfortable for mental health reasons, don't send that player. I mean, the whole team's not coming in there. You can pick players that can handle the situation at that time without any detriment to themselves. So I can't imagine college players opting out of it. Most players understand. I mean, the glory and the tough times, they go together. And in life, you don't get to opt out. I mean, we look at Dina's sister. She's now fighting colon cancer. She didn't get to opt out of that. The tough times you got to handle, and that's not always a good lesson. I would think at any level. I mean, when you got however many fans, 10,000 or so fans, 15,000 at a place, all of this is intertwined, and media responsibilities after a game are part of it. Radio or TV, and if you can't handle it, don't go. But I mean, I really think Taurasi could have handled it. Brittany Griner or Skylar. Skylar Dickens was a fantastic media person at Notre Dame. So that's just my take on that. And I'm coming from a media point of view, so people say, well, you're biased, and I'm like, well, yeah, but I'm old too and old school. Kimberly said the whole Cooper and Cunningham thing. Yeah, that was pretty funny. Copper, I'm sorry. The whole Copper and Cunningham thing. Kimberly spelled that correctly. I read it incorrectly. Yeah, that was, I mean, I like the social media back and forth. It's funny. I think it's good. And this generation, they're experts on social media. Don't troll these kids either. They will come for you. They grew up on it. Rebecca's here. She had a procedure to address a rapid heartbeat that she's had her whole life. So she said it went well, went with a hit. She's good. All right, Rebecca, good news. Renee, thank you for asking about her. I guess I better do the sponsors again before I forget that part. Let me go find my little cheap thing. I don't think Alexis is going to make it. We moved this to Tuesday for her. We're going to have to get on her. Here they are again. OrangeMountainDesigns.com, of course, lead sponsor along with Blue Water Climate Control. Absolutely love both. Gold Standard Fitness and Sports Performance Training with Lady Vol soccer star Jamel Johnson. She is very, very happy about soccer lately. Collective Unfiltered, which is on Monday. Alexis Hornbuckle basketball and Just Pass It tutoring. The soccer team is 13-1, 6-1. In the SEC, just rattle that 6 SEC wins in a row. That is hard to do. It's hard to do in any sport. It's hard to do in soccer. These teams are good. They play Georgia. They're at Vandy Thursday. That's right. They got to go on the road 2 days from now. Not tomorrow because we're not on Wednesday. They're at Vandy on Thursday. Vandy, of course, had one heck of a run last season. And then they host Georgia on Sunday. So get ready for those games. Volleyball, 15-3, 7-1. Both of these teams are ranked nationally, of course. They are continuing this road swing. They had so many home games to start the season, and now they've been on a road trip, it feels like, most of October. They are at LSU October 23rd and 24th. So good luck to both of those programs. Swimming, I know swimming had, they're underway too. Fall sports are really doing well. I know swimming, they had the announcement of the, where is that? The diver, SEC swimmer and diver of the week. Mona McSherry is the female swimmer of the week. I knew that was going to happen. And Grace Cable is the female co-diver of the week. So congratulations to those Lady Vols. Also, I believe the soccer and volleyball also had honorees. I want to make sure I get the names right of those. Let's see. God, my email is just full of everything. Claire Rain, Tennessee freshman defender for the soccer team, was freshman of the week. And I know volleyball had a co-defender of the week. And I want to make sure I get that name right. Ava Bell, co-SEC defensive player of the week. So congratulations to all of the Lady Vol sports for doing so well. I know everyone is happy about that. I'm still excited about football while we're talking about sports. I think they're going to be great. I absolutely love what Josh Heupel is doing. So it's the most excited I have been about football in a long time. As far as Diana breaking the door, probably shouldn't do that. I am glad, as somebody else has pointed out, that, let's see, who was that? Peggy said, Tarasi redeemed herself with me with the heartfelt hugs and congratulations along with Skylar Diggins. First to leave the court was Brittany and Sophie Cunningham. And obviously Tennessee fans have a history with Sophie Cunningham. We all know that because of the errant elbows. So, I mean, that is someone who has generated controversy, and that's not necessarily bad for the game. All of this, I do think, and I believe I said this last week, I do think Diana Taurasi gets away with way too much with the officials. I don't think other players would get away with that, and I think the league needs to get a handle on that. No idea if she'll be back, or Sue Bird. I mean, like Candace, these players are not they're not young. This is a young person's game, and they are not young. But how much have they got in the tank? Alexis did have a birthday this weekend. Maybe she's still celebrating that. Trina said celebrated with her at a birthday. Nancy said, where is Patsy tonight? That is an excellent question. She's around because I fed her dinner, so she is here. I know that for a fact. Karen said, please shout out to Donna. She got hurt at the ball game. How did she get hurt at the ball game? I mean, did you take the court? Hope you're okay. So shout out to Donna. And I think I have gotten through all the questions, and I think we hit all the good stuff that we wanted to talk about. We had a lot to talk about tonight. I think we got all of it. Thanks for coming on a Tuesday. We will be Tuesday the rest of the way. We'll have to figure out what to do about our post-game show, because it's not going to be that controlled situation anymore after the game. We're going back to live, media interviews, and the media workroom is not a quiet place. So it's not a place to do a show. We'll figure out how to do that. How to figure that out. Maybe it will be something we combine into another show. I don't know. Donna said, drunks fell into me. Oh, that's not fun. I'm so sorry. It looked like a rowdy crowd, a drunk crowd. I was there to go to practice, of course, and was leaving at 4:00 after practice, and was making my way, mask, one of the few only really, through a packed garage of tailgaters. And I talked to some parking people, and they said that tailgaters were arriving at 7 a.m. So for some people, that was a long day and evening of drinking. I think Tennessee is being asked by the SEC to address that in terms of security, alcohol sales. But I mean, people have been drinking alcohol in Neyland Stadium long before they started selling beer. They would sneak in. I mean, people had all kinds of creative ways to sneak in liquor. And mustard bottles, apparently. I don't know if you saw French's mustard on Twitter. When somebody posted a photo of the water bottles and the mustard, they posted they wanted dinner and a show. Like I said, social media is at another level on these things that happen with this. Kimberly said, did you see the article about Pruitt's attorney wanting a settlement from the university? Pretty much said they would bury the university unless they settled. Yeah, that's an interesting strategy, Kimberly. Basically settle with us or we're going to tell everything we know. I applaud Tennessee or anyone in that position for not caving to that. Now, I don't know what they know or what they'll say, but that's an unveiled threat, and that's not how you negotiate a settlement. You don't do it through the media. And if you're doing it through the media, that's one of the last resort areas. I'm not saying that information won't come to light, but I'm also not saying that that's going to be a very effective strategy. So we shall see. God's Child said, I sent a message on Twitter personally to Sophie. No reply yet, but I told him so many words. Stop worrying about a photo. You lost in a WNBA finals. Get back in the gym and work on your game. Yeah. I mean, that's a very nice message. And it was a heck of a photo. Every so often, a photographer, you take thousands upon thousands of photos. And at some point, the facial expression and the position of the players, you get that perfect photo. And she got it. That's a photo that you just look at again. And particularly in a series, it was so heated, so pitched, a lot of emotion, a lot of players just really going at it on the court. And then, of course, I think most are friends off the court. So Sven said, ladies, wish you a good week. It's 2 a.m. here in Germany, and I need some sleep. Go get some sleep, Sven. Sleep to the rain. Marianne said, thank you, Maria, for another great show. And I can't read. The thing hangs over it. And your commitment to it. You're very welcome. Alexis said she was not worried when she couldn't make it because of all the work, because she knew I was over here. That's me. I try to be that reliable sixth man. Nobody's going to put me in a starting lineup, but I'll be your sixth woman and try to help out. So be curious to see. We're 2 weeks away, guys, aren't we? Somebody said that earlier in here. What is today? The 19th. We are rolling. And Tennessee will hold one of those, what they call scrimmages. It's a closed scrimmage with a D1 school. It's usually at a neutral site that both teams can drive to. I can't even tell you who it is. I don't know who it is. You're not allowed to publicize it, have media, have fans, have public. Only people allowed are team personnel and the officials. It's what teams do. You're allowed 2 exhibition games, but your exhibition games cannot be Division I. So Tennessee, of course, has Georgia College coming in. You could schedule another lower division school, but you learn more about a scrimmage against a D1 school. But if you scrimmage D1, it has to be done without any media access or public commenting or anything. But it's a controlled game scrimmage. I mean, the coaches, obviously, you can interrupt the game. The coaches can agree to a set of rules beforehand about how it's run. You have officials there. It's a much better gauge for the players. And then the exhibition game they do have, you put them out in front of fans. But you cannot hold an exhibition game against a D1 opponent. So it's something that a lot more schools are doing. They're doing these closed scrimmages with D1 to get a better read on their team. And it doesn't count. It's an exhibition, and it's just for the coaches to get film and teaching moments. Like Pat said, every moment, a teaching moment. God's Child said, you deserve a 6th Woman Award. You're holding it down very well. Thank you. Appreciate that. Donna Hairston, sister versus brother. Yeah, that'll be fun. There's a storyline to that. So I understand. Usually it's Carson Newman, but Kelly's taking care of her brother because that's a payout game. The D1 programs pay these smaller schools to come in for these exhibitions, and it can fund your program for the entire season. So that is always a good thing. And I'm sure Carson Newman, they typically have played other schools. They'll find somebody to pick up that spot and keep their budget stuff going. So you guys have a good night. I am going to get back to the Braves because these games have given me heart attacks all the way through, and I'm sure they plan another one for me this evening. Thanks again for coming on a Tuesday. We will see you a week from today. And as always, peace. Go Lady Vols. Love you guys. And girls and women and men. Guys, I was born in Massachusetts. You could kind of tell because I actually grew up in the South, but I was born there. Apparently that got in my DNA where I say you guys, though I can't understand any Boston accents. So you guys have a great evening, and I'll see you in a week. Peace.